higher prevalence in women, often, often linked to hormonal changes, societal pressures, and life events. Yeah, depression is something that is common these days, and anxiety at the same time. But I think it's because we are going through very difficult times. Society-wise, nationally, we are going through difficult times. Financially, you'll find that businesses that were doing well before, they are not doing well. Some are closing because of problems of paying rent, and all these pressures people are keeping on themselves. Yeah. For instance, when a lady is not contented, or the family is not contented with what they have. Yeah. You know what the Bible says? Paul advising his protege, called Timothy, told him that contentment with godliness is what? Great gain. Great gain. So contentment is important. Don't compare yourself with another person, because people are blessed differently. Because some of the causes of this stress that is coming is trying to compare with yourself with somebody else. Don't compare yourself with anybody. Just live your life. Trust God to give you what you ask Him to give you. And I draw much wisdom from what Jesus said, that when you are praying, ask for the bread. When? For today, not tomorrow. Bread of that day, and God will give you the bread for that day. But if you start asking now, you want bread for next week, and God is the one who supplies all to His people, how can you ask for next week? You don't even know whether you will be alive or not. So best thing is to be contented with what you have. Of course, I'm not saying you should not be aspire to improve yourself. That is there for everybody, to aspire to improve. But don't ask for outrageous things. Somebody, if I'm driving a small car, a Toyota Vitz, now I want to drive, I'm not contented with that. I want now, because I saw a friend driving a V8, I want to drive a V8. You stress yourself for nothing. You still can move from point A to point B with your Vitz, and you arrive home. You arrive to where you are going. Yes, so everybody who drive a V8 or a Range Rover, okay? Not everybody will live in a mansion with a swimming pool, even when they don't know how to swim. So, if you are in a flat that is 2 bedrooms, and you are only you and maybe a child, that is good enough. If God has blessed you with a house that is 5, 6 bedrooms, it's okay for you. But remember that when you have such things, now the worry comes. How do you maintain those things? For somebody who has a very large house, unakuta watoto wameenda, and you are left alone with your wife. And all those other bedrooms are locked. You are using only one. Doesn't make sense usually. So stress is coming because people are comparing with, and this is what is happening even in the politics. Yeah? The current crop of MPs want to have so many things. They have had a friend is having a helicopter, they also want to have a helicopter. Yeah? Or they want to have many cars chasing them. You know, I think people are really stressing, if I may use that word, stressing God. He doesn't know what we are doing. Okay, please. So don't stress yourself. So don't depress yourself. Live within your means. Don't allow other people to judge how you live. As long as you have peace between you and your maker, that is all that is important. Yeah. Don't stress yourself. Eating disorders comes because of the same stress. Sometimes eating too much, sometimes not eating. Yeah. They come because of stress and the depression. Let me mention a little bit about cardiovascular chronic conditions before we go to cancer. Chronic conditions, we have cardiovascular disease. And the cardiovascular disease affects men more than women. For some reason, I think women are protected by estrogen. This is one bit where estrogen is good. It's good, protects ladies from getting heart attacks, from getting these cardiovascular diseases. Hypertension also becomes lower in women. Men tend to get hypertension earlier than women. Maybe because of the stress they also go through. In fact, this comparison of one family and another, it is there in men more than women, I believe. A lot. Yes, a lot. And one preacher one time told us, unaona hii competition tuko nayo in the world, or even in Kenya. It starts from what I mentioned here. You have 40 to 270 million sperms, and they are chasing one egg. That competition, it comes out when the child is born. Your competition still lives on and goes on and goes on. Because they are all chasing one egg and there are millions. Yeah, so it brings a lot of problems. Autoimmune diseases, higher incidence in women such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis. You have had arthritis affects more women than men. Unakuta mama, the joints of the hands, became arthritic. Na hii kitu inaitwa lupus also. Osteoporosis, I mentioned about it, the weakening of bones because of hormones. Let me go to cancer quick now. Breast cancer, of course, is the most common, followed by cervical cancer. The importance of screening, mammograms. For breast, we monitor using mammograms, but more importantly is just physical exam. And we normally say that you should know your body. Know your body. Because you are the one who can tell us, kukona kakitu nasikia hapa soren. Kukona kakitu nasikia hapa soren. So pass your hand around your body when you are bathing. Make sure that you know every part. Okay? Reproductive cancers, ovarian and uterine. And let me just give a testimony here. Bishop, if you allow. My wife, and by the way, she is also a doctor, but dental. She's a dentist. Uh, although she doesn't treat me, even when you see my teeth good, I go to other dentists. But anyway, she came up with pain from July last year. Pain on the right side, right somewhere here. And she mentioned to me, hey, nasikia ka pain hapa. If I lie on this side, nasikia ka pain. So, being both, knowledgeable in medical issues, we agreed, let's go for ultrasound, let's go for CT scan and all that. And she went. CT scan came showing that she has a swelling in the tumbo. She had had a previous operation, and her doctor said the ovaries were still intact. So, but there is a covering normally in the abdomen. Tukifungua tumbo, tunaona a covering that is usually there. We call it omentum. And omentum is like policeman of the abdomen. If you get a penetrating wound into your tummy, what covers that area umekuwa na kidoda ndani is omentum. It comes and closes that. Yeah? So that you don't get infection further than that. So that's why we call it a policeman of the abdomen. So they said that the omentum meshikana imeform what we call cake, omento cake. And further tests showed that she has ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer. But we trusted God for healing. And we have called all the people in the church. They prayed with us. Many ministers came to our house. And then she started her, the issue was either to go under surgery, then chemo. Then we were advised the best would be chemo, 3 courses for 3 weeks interval. Then we do surgery. Then we do another 3 chemo. But when we did the first 3 chemo, the response was so good because of what? Prayers. I believe the prayers of the saints helped us a lot. And we use something we call tumor marker in the blood. Tumor marker is something tukichukua damu yako, tunaona how much tumor you have in your blood. So we started when it was 462. Your tumor marker. It's called CA125. CA125. And after 3 chemo sessions, can you believe, of course, with the prayers, that is why I say God really intervened. We got 38 from 462 to 38. The normal is supposed to be between 0 and 33. No? So the doctor said, maneno ya surgery? No. Since she is responding so well to chemo, let's continue another 3 courses of chemo. And she did. She finished. The last one was done just before Christmas, I think 24th of December, last year too. And when we went for that tumor marker, it was now 19. Yeah. You see how much prayers can do. And of course, prayers together with medication. Ya daktaris wanamenya what they are doing. They know what they are doing. It has brought to that level. There is still further tests to be done, but we want to believe that she is healed. The only thing is that when you are taking care of a sick patient, sick person, especially a spouse, you are also sick. Yeah? I find myself sometimes like sick. She has no hair. The hair is gone. And she looks very different from what I know her to be. Very different. Yeah, so such tumors, like ovarian, is very difficult to detect. Very difficult. But for things like breast and cervical, I normally tell people you should not suffer from that, because something detectable mapema. You go for screening and it will be found very early. Ovarian or anything to do with above here, it's very difficult to detect. Yeah. Good. So we go on to lifestyle factors, nutrition, exercise, and substance use, of course, should not be used. Risk of smoking and alcohol and drug use should not be used. Access to health care, that's the seventh one. Access to health care. It is important for us to be able to access health care, particularly this particular time we have many issues to do with how do you access health care. For instance, currently there is this thing that's going on with the government, the chief from NHIF to chief social health insurance, then there is CHA, yeah, all those things. And you find that people are not happy with the changes that came, but importantly, it's good to have, if you can, have your own insurance. Don't rely on SHA, chief, nini. Have your own small insurance, because it will help you at the point of need. When you really need, or you are in need of medical services, they are usually very expensive. Some of those tests, I'm telling you, my wife is going through, they are costing hundreds, of shillings. The only thing is that since she's a lecturer at the university is paying. At least I'm not feeling the pain in my pocket. But occasionally we have to pay, and then she claims, she fills claiming forms and all. But it's very important to have an insurance, because sometimes you'll find people are doing harambes right, left, center for medical issues. And even a family that is relatively wealthy can become impoverished at a go because of health issues. So access to health care is very important. Make sure that you attend either a doctor or have a doctor and an insurance if you can, please, so that when that time comes, even by the way, deliveries, they are covered for those who are in that age group. But don't jazz insurance when you're already pregnant. They will not cater for that one. They refuse. You are supposed to have already in the insurance cover before you get pregnant. The last one here is violence and abuse, domestic abuse. Now, we are aware that recently there has been a lot of cases of what we call femicide. Femicide is killing of women. Yesterday was Thursday, the headline of Nation was talking about in fact, pictures of, I think, several ladies, more than 7, who have been killed in the last 3 weeks or so. And we have seen so many cases of ladies being killed. Some are put in bags, others body parts are missing, you know. And therefore, this is an age where you need to be careful. For those who are still young, make sure that you know who you are dating, and don't date online. Please, don't date online. That is what is causing all these deaths, some of them. Because you meet somebody on Instagram, you seem like you like the face, and he finds you, you start arranging how you're going to meet. Kube ni mukora. He's after your blood. I think they are satanists. They are killing women, and maybe, I don't know what they are doing with the bodies. So please, for those who are still searching, I normally tell people, if you read the Bible, and I know you people are Bible readers, the best place to find a spouse, I normally tell them it is at the well. Look at Jacob. Look at Moses. Look at all those prophets of Kitambo. Walikutana wapi? At the well. Wakitafuta maji. Where do you get your water? Hapa in the church. This is your well. And this is where you'll find your spouse. You meet in the church. Don't meet online. And you'll save yourself a lot of heartache. Because I know there are people who have regretted having met online, and they end up don't even come back home. Yeah? So there is a lot of that killing. We don't know whether Satan is at work in this, but please don't date outside your group kama hii ya church. Please. Yeah. And of course, the other thing I normally, so we say, and I don't know the teaching in this one, church, that once married, no divorce. You know, I'm saying that because I'm also a church leader. But sometimes I find we disadvantage ladies. When we say that, sometimes if the person you are living with is beating you up, physical fight, don't wait until you are killed. Just separate yourself. Be separate, you know, kando kiasi, to save yourself. And I'll finish by saying this. When my big sister, I'm the fourth born in our family. So I have a sister who are now late, then a brother and me. My sister got married, huyo mkubwa akiwa primary. You can imagine. She got pregnant by this guy when she was in class 6. Then when they moved together and started living together, and because of the pressure, the pressure, as we are saying, pressure alive, my sister used to be beaten. In fact, when I was a small boy, I used to say, I wish I have niwamenya kioga tukamenyane na huyo mtu. And when she had 4 children, she came back home, and we actually brought up those children, me and my brother and the rest of the family. 4 children, until they are now adults on their own. And can you imagine, after 20 years living with us, the mzee comes, sasa anataka his wife back. He wants his wife back. But God works in very strange ways. Because after we really resisted that, we didn't want her to go. We had already bought her land someplace. Waka agree that wauze hiyo, amemununulia kwake mahali yako na bibi ingine. So anyway, we resisted that, but she agreed to go. Kasema sawa. And you know, God works in very mysterious ways, because when this mzee alikujia sasa the other family, alikuja hapa Nairobi, pale outside electricity house, hapo nje kuna makati Aga Khan walk, mahali kuko na kanyasi mzuri. Alilala hapo akuamka in Nairobi street, you know. So I'm saying, don't wait until you are killed, ama you are become disabled, at because tunasema hakuna divorce. You can separate yourself, kama vile my sister alifanya akakuja. We took care of them. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for listening. I hope you have enjoyed. You can ask more questions now regarding the section that we have done. They are even here. Is tubal ligation godly? To be done at what age? What are the short-term effects? Tubal ligation, every operation, apart from, of course, changing gender, because there are people who are now changing gender. We had one in Ngatia, and I really regret why I took part in it. The senior surgeon who was over me is the one who was doing, but he asked me to assist a guy who wanted to become a woman. And all the senior consultants in Ngatia had resisted that, refused completely. But this senior surgeon decided to go ahead with it. And what he did was to remove, you remember where I said the covering of the testicles is the same one as the labia of women. So after he split, removed the testicles, and became the labia for this guy. You know? Of course, that is not godly. Anything to change with the way God made you, especially your gender, is not godly. But for tubal ligation, I think, is because you have achieved the number of children you want in life. You don't know, maybe even dowries are affecting your health. You cannot continue taking them. So tubal ligation becomes the best option. I think that is okay. I don't think there is anything ungodly about it, because it's just a family planning. But at what age? It is not the age that determines, although it may play a part. One time I had a lady who came to my office and wanted reversal. Tubal ligation, when you want to turn it back to, which is, it's permanent, but when you want to try another child, sometimes people make that mistake. She came and she said she wanted reversal. That's what it's called. And the reason is she got married when she was very young, in the early 20s. By age 25, she had 3 children. So the husband wakaachana, mtu akaenda kivyake, huyo akaenda na huyo akaenda kivyake, and she has tubal ligation. Several years down the line, she meets some Mzungu. She's a Luo. She meets some Mzungu who wants to marry her. And of course they want children. So that's the reason why she came for reversal. I took her to theater. I of course explained the dangers and the possibilities that we may do it and it doesn't work. And after doing it, she actually achieved pregnancy, meaning I did a good job. But but before you start crafting, before you start crafting, you know where I joined the two ends. The two ends here, this part and this part, where I joined, there is usually a scar. And that is what brought the problem, because the egg came and found a scar. It was fertilized there. And you know what that means? That is called what? Ectopic pregnancy. So she actually got an ectopic pregnancy, and I had to take her back to theater to do now the operation for the ectopic. After that, I never saw them again, but it didn't really achieve what they wanted. Yeah, so age is important. Don't do it too early, but you have to wait until your number of children you want are there. Okay, what is the short-term effect? A tubal ligation, unless during surgery you get injured, because we have had cases like that. We normally do a very small scar. We call it a mini lap, a mini laparotomy scar. And because you are going through a pinhole like this, you may injure, the doctor may injure like the bladder. And if it does not rearise and may injure the bladder, you start leaking urine kwa tumbo huko ndani, which can even kill. So that's the short-term side effect. But if it's done correctly, I used to be the trainer, by the way, in Kenyatta Hospital. I was the one who was training doctors how to do it. So if they landed into trouble, they always looked for me. Inflammation, urinary area, of course that is infection. There must be some infection that is causing you to irritate hapo. At 60 years, breasts want to release milk. I believe this is a lady who press your nipples, you are seeing some milky stuff, some like milk. I think that's what the question is asking. And they are 60 years. This is abnormal, and usually you need to have a hormone called bromocriptine tested to see what level it is, so that if it is high, it means there is something that is growing in your pituitary gland, because that's what releases the bromocriptine. With persistent pain, son. This is a woman who is saying son has persistent pain in the penis, antibiotics not working. He needs to have that person, that young man, aangaliwe na daktari aonekane kwa nini na pain, and antibiotics are not working. Then son urinating almost throughout, no gaps. That's again infection. The son is urinating many times. Frequency of micturition, we call it micturition, is caused by infection. So he needs to go through urine test na angaliwe na daktari. The last two, those are people to be seen by the doctor. I think I'm done. I'm done. Yes.
Asante sana, pigeni daktari makofi tena. Asante, God bless you so much. We really appreciate the teaching. Doctors wanaongea haongei kama bishop, because daktari amezoea kuongea na watu karibu na kuweka siri zao, so wanaongea pole pole kama wewe ni patient. Is it okay? And Baba Franco, you need to do your work now. Daktari sasa umpatie pahali apumzike vizuri. Hiyo na ukibie ndio nizikupatia retire hivi karibuni. Tako shosho wa maina, uguka wa maina oyo. Wapi shosho wa maina? Ndo mwiso kama ameshika kitu hii. Asante, thank you. I hope mtafurahia nikita daktari tena kwa conference. Na tuwe na muda mrefu, si ni vizuri? Na mwe tayari sasa. Sasa leo ilikuwa ya kuastua. Si mumeamka akili? Sasa next time tutalenga. Tutakusema daktari ni hapa na hapa. Amen. Hallelujah. Na itakuwa jambo la maana sana. Now, we would like to give an offering. Mimi nasikiaga tu at such a time I want to bless God. Na mimi offering yangu huwa inabeba, it always carry something. Kwa hivyo natoa offering ambao inaweza nena. Mimi sirushi hivi. Ukiniangalia usiniangalie sasa leo, utaona nimeshika sadaka. Nilisema italetwa hapa mbele. Baba Franco, I said italetwa hapa mbele. It's not that way. I don't know kama hiyo chodo hakuna wacha wakuje hapa.